Hey guys, what is up? So happy to have you tonight, and we're gonna be talking all about Fast and Furious and what Ludacris said at the beginning of this week. And tonight to talk about that and everything going on with the writer's strike, all that stuff is me and the Spider's Lair. What is up, buddy? How are you?
Hey, what's up? I'm good. I'm good. Oh man, what a crazy. What's going on? There's too much insanity going on out there.
I
Oh
don't have
man.
much time to talk about it, but I mean, like, it is absolutely insane.
I mean, I tell you right now, I'll just get with over there quick and then we'll get out of here. But pretty much from what I'm hearing right now, what I'm seeing, and everyone I'm talking to, strike's gonna happen by the end of June. And the last one that happened before this was like I believe it was 2007, and that lasted for like about 6 months. So
Yeah,
what's pretty much gonna happen is any shows you like, any TV shows, any all that will be done. They already put Tom Holland Spider-Man 4 on hold. So it
yeah,
was they were gonna be filming until the end of the month, but then no, they just decided nope, that's it. Just that. So this was all supposed to be going down to June 30th. So a major a major project already got cut. So that tells me that more are coming quicker. And we work in the industry. We don't say how. You guys know how.
yep.
But I can say this much: I have not been called for work. I've got to call in once a week, and I'm available and haven't got anything. And it's just because everything's chaotic right now. So I do believe that, from what I can tell, everything's going to shut down by June 30th. And whatever's done before then will go into post production, and then they'll be releasing whatever shows by the fall. But after the fall shows, as far as unless everybody gets back in, I think what's going to happen is they are going to go on strike, and I think maybe by October they may settle, from what
Yeah,
I can tell, because it's a very when the last strike happened, it didn't happen in this time frame from the summer to the fall. It happened between the winter and the spring, so it was
which
able
is
to go
crazy.
longer. And then in the summer, because of that, now they have to make up all of that. They have to make up all that lost time.
Yeah.
So essentially, I'm looking probably by like September, October. I'm probably gonna be working like crazy because it's just gonna be so many projects that just need to be done that are just put on delay because of the strike.
There
But
were
yeah.
so
So
many there were so many great shows that came out in, I think the last writer strike was 2008, like big one.
yeah. Yeah.
And so
That's the
many
one.
great shows came out at the end of 2007 into 2008 that just never got renewed because of the writer strike.
Yeah. That,
Journeyman being one of them and Moonlight being the other one. For those of you
yeah.
who don't
That's
remember
true.
what those were, Journeyman was the one where he would snap back in time to kind of save someone's life, learn a little bit about himself and like
Yeah.
about other people, and then jump back to his time period. And he was missing time in between. And then Moonlight was a vampire show that was very accurate to like what a vampire show should be, not like the whole sparkly vampire, not a teen drama like
Yeah.
Vampire
He was
Diaries.
like
It
a.
was
If I
badass.
remember, if I remember correctly, wasn't he like a detective?
Yes.
Yeah, and yeah, so it
PI
was
maybe.
badass. Yeah,
Yeah.
a PI, I believe, and he
Yep.
did work with. I know he worked with the department. He had a girl that was inside the department. I
Yep.
remember that show. That's so long ago. But you're right. Yeah, that's a quality show. They don't make them
So
like
like
that anymore.
yeah, all the shows that came out that like started right around that time period, and then the writers strike hit, a lot of them were just like, well, I mean, it doesn't make sense to keep continuing them because
Yeah, they're
people
not
weren't
gonna be
watching
picked
them.
up.
And
I mean, it's just what happens is like okay, so people understand how writing's actually done. I think people would imagine a scenario where everything's completely written down, line for line, point for point. Not necessarily the case. No, everything's written as it goes along. So if you have a show that's going along, that's coming along well, and then you lose like you lose a momentum. That's
yeah,
one. No one's talking to each other because you're not allowed to talk to each other. See what's crazy about the strike, like the writer's strike, you would just think, okay, writers, no, everything shuts down. Production, sound, everything. I mean, the people I'm talking to people high up in there, and they're telling me, yeah, this is what we're being told, and this is what, mum's the word. No one wants to speak on this. They're not allowed to. I mean, in a union strike, if you're looking to speak against it, I mean, you're a rat.
yep,
And
yeah,
I'm for the unions in that matter, and I'm for people trying, to get a better wage. I mean, I won't go into the details on the deals though, but I was talking to you earlier about this, and I mean, my opinion, I think it's just a little ridiculous. It's like trying to get extra job security for people that you don't need. I mean, a job that you want 5 to 7 people to do, that back in the day only required 1 or 2 writers. I mean, all the great sitcoms. I mean, always done by 2 people. The Jeffersons, you had, who was it, Norman Lear, and I forget the other guy's name, but he also made All in the Family, and these were 2 writers that they just 2 writers for the show. That's it.
Yeah.
What these people are talking about doing is they want like a writer for every freaking day of the show.
And we were talking about how that's just not possible. And it doesn't make sense. Like, why would I want to write 1 episode and then move on and then write like episode 7? Like, everything that I had started in episode 1, I then have to catch myself up on episodes 2 through 6. It's just stupid.
I mean, and even back then, we didn't have what they have today, like the streaming services. That's not even something that was an option then. So you pretty much was stuck with whatever the schedule was. And like you said, you start a show, it's coming out nice, strike comes, nothing. You don't even hear the show's canceled. Nothing. There's no news on it. Nothing. You just put it on your TV. You're like, where did this show go? This was a nice show.
Yeah.
So it's just like I'm saying, it's cutting a lot of my money, but I'm okay.
I was watching The Office because I'm watching the Superfan episodes now, going through them slowly but surely. And like, it's so amazing. But then like, you see those little tiny things where it's like Michael gets his Netflix sent to the office, and you're like, oh crap, yeah, Netflix used to be like Redbox and Blockbuster.
Yeah, remember that?
Not many people remember that. I didn't have Netflix when it was DVDs.
I think one of the first shows I started watching through Netflix was Death Note. And if you guys ever watched Death Note, you know how long this thing is. So now imagine you getting it, and it's like a couple of episodes. And I'll get like the 2 disc deal, so okay. But then you gotta send them back. So I was like sending them back in rotation, like as I finished one. Like I had it timed perfectly. Every couple of days, you just threw it in the box. It was easy. I had it timed perfectly, And then once they came out with the streaming thing, I was like, oh, you can still keep the option. I'm like, get rid of that thing. Hell no, I don't want that. That's work now. I don't got to do work. But yeah, I remember that. You had to mail things in. Yeah, I used to have Gamefly too, same way. You had to mail in the games and stuff. It's just crazy times, like how technology evolves, But
I actually have a buddy that
Netflix.
One of my buddies went to Redbox when it was going out of business and bought as many of the DVDs as he could from the Redbox, knowing full well he would never return them because he'd never have to.
They're going out of business. Exactly.
Like they're going out of business. Who cares?
I returned them, but the box was gone. I always found my box to be like very I don't know. I would call it sketchy, hood-like, almost like what box is in the hood. Like I don't know. I just never trusted that thing. Put your card in here; it's totally safe. Don't worry about it. So it's crazy.
It was almost like the back alley deal of the early 21st century. You'd walk up, you'd go over to it, and you'd kind of have to like put your stuff in without other people passing by into CVS or Wegmans, and it would be like, okay, well, what do I want? And then there's a whole line behind you of other people who are just getting their groceries or just about to go get their groceries, and you're like, oh, I better fucking figure this out quick.
Yeah, exactly. You're like, hurry up! It's bad when the old ladies start yelling at you.
I never realized the whole draw of wanting to rent a video game.
Yeah,
like
it's crazy.
I never got that. Why would I want to rent a video game that I have to return in 2 days? I don't have time to play a video game for 2 days straight and then return it.
I would only rent them if I knew I had the time, and I was lucky. Some of the jobs I had, I was actually like doing like night duty, so I actually had the time to just sit there and burn through them. Yeah. I mean, you're not going to rent the game for a week and then want to finish it. I mean, I don't know. Just back then, I just felt like I feel like there was something to be said for subscription-based things like this. And the reason why I say this is because when you know you're spending the money, you're going to most likely want to do it. Yep. When you know you're getting it free, you're going to be less likely to like, it's free. Like I got the PlayStation Network. I'm supposed to get a game every month. Sometimes I download them. Sometimes I totally forget because I know I'm always going to get a game. But if it was something like where I had to pay for it, I think I would be treated differently. I mean, there is something to be said about paid content, and that's what people need to understand, that there's a difference between getting things free. And it's nice to get stuff for free, but paid content's also the way you want to go because This is where people are putting in this, the extras, the
Yeah.
creativity. I appreciate that. That's an art form. Any kind of things that you talk about media, this is all art forms. This is forms of art and entertainment. This is what humans all look to each other for. So,
Yep.
I understand how metrics work.
So speaking of all that, we're talking about how Ludacris basically came out and said, obviously they're going to want to make more Fast and Furious movies. They're making money. People are still going to see them. As people say, hey, this is absolutely astronomically stupid and never could happen, people are still going out to the theaters to watch these. I didn't go see Fast 10 or Fast 9 in theaters. I think Fast 9 came out right toward the end of COVID, so that was one of the reasons.
Right.
And then Fast 10 I just haven't went to go see yet because I haven't had the time. So, and honestly, I don't care about spoilers for movies like that because they're not part of like this giant universe. They're obviously they're within their own universe, but there's not like spoilers of what character is going to come out, who's going to be seen, who might die, all of that. Like, I'm totally fine getting a spoiler that, hey, Dominic Toretto said family 27 times in this movie.
It's family, baby. It's all about family. 27,847 times.
I totally get that Ludacris is like, they're going to keep doing this as long as money keeps coming in. It makes sense.
I actually like what Ludacris said, which is, I quote, what a stupid question.
Yeah.
Look, okay. So for all you youngins out there that dream of retirement, I'm going to explain something to you. Retirement's great. Don't get me wrong. But if you're ever in a position in life where you can make easy money, I mean, like doing virtually no work, and you know what your worth is, then you take the money. That's what Ludacris is saying. Why would I stop making these when I'm making $1 billion per movie, and we splitting this up, all this cheddar, everybody's getting fed.
Yeah, honestly, I think they could easily make a Tej prequel movie. I would love to see Ludacris, a young Ludacris, going through like getting into his accident, becoming like the circuit guy for all of Miami. Like all of that would be amazing to watch. I would love to see more street racing from that side of the deal because I'm one of the people who absolutely was a huge fan of Too Fast, Too Furious. That side of Fast and Furious has not been touched on recently. Yeah. You had the street race where like he pulled the pin and the vacuum made the boost happen, which was really cool and really interesting. I don't know how realistic that is, but like it's cool. Like being able to really pull that off and like to make it look real is the reason I go see these Fast and Furious movies, and it gets kids to love these classic cars that they normally wouldn't see in the real world if they weren't going to go see them on screen. Like, oh, I think you're frozen.
There we go.
I was talking to the top of your head for a second there.
I was like, SpaghettiOs. Look, I'll put it to you like this, right? And I love all the Fast and Furious movies because, I like the one where he takes the freaking car and he's like somehow like swing over the bridge and is hanging onto a helicopter and that swings him. Yeah, no way that can happen. That's the whole point of it. It's adult entertainment. And the kids will love it too. Because think about it. This is why this movie makes so much money. Because you have these people who appeal to all ages. It's not just about young people or old people. It's about all ages. So a kid could appreciate this because especially a young boy who can appreciate this. Look, I love these cars, and you got the adults who love the cars, and this is something that appeals to sons and fathers. I mean, not saying the girls don't like it too, because trust me, you see all those chicks in that movie, it's girls that like cars. You wouldn't have chicks in there like that,
Yeah.
So this movie's for everybody. It appeals to young people, appeals to young girls, it appeals to hot women. It appeals to guys like ego. It appeals to the nature of, in the end, we're racing, but it's all about family. And the thing about it is, people can be critical all they want because I used to believe the same thing. And I'm telling you right now, I don't believe that anymore. Always make money. That's number one. I don't care who you are. Grab the bag. If you can make that money, you better grab it. Don't be like, you know what? I don't really need it. I'm good. because maybe you would be good, but what's it gonna hurt to make yourself more wealthier? Listen, we
Yeah.
live in a capitalistic society, so you gotta be a capitalist sometime in your life. So that's my advice I give to people. So when they say that to me, yeah, I totally agree with Ludacris 1 billion%. And I would even have said the same thing. What a stupid question. If I'm making a
Yeah.
couple of if I'm making 20, 30, 40 million a movie, and that's per person, and we're profiting about 1 billion worldwide. And this is happening every time we put out a movie. On
Yep.
average, every 2 years. This has been going on for 20 years. Yeah, go for another 10, 20 years. And then you know what you do, guys? Groom your sons into taking over your spots. And let them play the young versions of you guys. That's
Yep.
how I would do it. Fast and
Yeah.
Furious 25. The teenage years of somebody. You know?
I was actually talking to a couple of students when Fast X first came out, and they were high schoolers and they had no idea who I was, and I had no idea who they were. And they're like, "Are you guys gonna go see Fast and Furious?" And I was like, "Dude, I remember when that first one came out. My parents wouldn't let me go see it because I was only 7 years old, and they're like, no, you're not gonna go watch a movie about drugs and alcohol and street racing. Like, no, that's not happening." So I probably watched it in 02, 03 when I was 10. My mom's like, "Okay, you're good. Like, you're a little bit older, a little bit more understanding. Like, if you have any questions, ask them. I might answer them." I was like, "Okay, sounds good, Mom." And by then, I think Tokyo Drift was nearly coming out or had come out. And I was just like in love with this first movie. And I honestly believe I saw the second movie first. I don't think I knew there was the Fast and the Furious.
Oh,
I
you
think
saw Too Fast and Too Furious.
Yeah, I think I saw Too Fast, Too Furious first. Just because that's like when it came out, that's the age I was where I was like, wow, cars, they're racing, they're doing all this crap. Like,
See?
look at all these stunts. I want to do that.
Isn't it funny? I'll tell you about how the kids are appealed to this, and this is exactly your story.
Like,
it got you when you were young.
Exactly.
You've been indoctrinated into the muscle car world.
Yep.
Indoctrination works.
My mom taught me all about cars. My dad taught me all about cars. Now my wife wants to get a 55 to 57 Chevy Bel Air.
There you go.
I want to get a nice classic truck from the Ford era of like hot square body trucks with the circular.
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about. Listen, let me know when you get one. Not the square body, but the
circular body with the circular headlights and stuff. Like,
yes.
I'm so about that because those cars are amazing. I don't want the old style engine. I want to drop something new into there and see how far I can push it. But at the same time, I want that old school look because nothing's like that out there.
This is what you do. You take that, you renew it right down to every piece of chrome, and then you drop a brand new Hemi in that motherfucker. Yep. You drop a Hemi in there, and it'll fit because that body and that cage is so huge. You could just step in there and work. Yeah. I'm a mechanic as well, so I build things all the time, and I love so working on cars, especially old classics. They're easy to work on. They're easy. I mean, like, I'm telling you, compared to the new stuff, those cars are always easy. I mean, like, little to no computing whatsoever. Yep. You're just changing the basic parts and you're good to go.
There's like doing 5 miles of wiring in a 10-foot car.
Yeah, it's simple. It's from point A to point B. Simple circuitry. That's it. Once the alternator kicks on, it kicks on 18 different things in the car. The lights, the panel lights, the signal lights, the headlights, anything electrical, and that's it. Not like these cars right now where I'm not no car dealer specialist, but I do know about the manufacturing of the microchips. Mm-hmm. New cars, don't buy them for the next couple of years. Don't waste your money because they're putting a lot of cars out there that the microchips are not even like completed to have in there. So you're getting features that are just like, you ever see a car that has like 4 buttons and your car only has that 1 button because you got like the cheapest version of it. And you're like, what the hell do these other 3 do? So imagine getting those 3 buttons that don't work, but it's a brand new car. They tell you, bring it back in 2027. We'll fix it. Get the hell out of here. No, 2027 is a little like ridiculous.
No, I got you.
But I'm hearing like this is taking like a couple of months to even a year for some people to get their upgrade, not their upgrade, their car fixed the way it should have been fixed. You know. Yeah. So yeah, it's just a lot of craziness going on right now. Especially like I said, the Fast and Furious thing. I'm telling you right now, keep making them. This was gonna do. I feel it's gonna do over $1 billion again. With no problem. Easy. easy.
Oh, for sure.
And
I mean, it's
and what's
worldwide
crazy
phenomenon.
and what's crazy is that at the same time you're gonna have like what is it? You got Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse in there right now, and what other movie is in there right now that is supposedly big? Which one was
Indiana Jones. Did that just come out?
Oh no, that's gonna fly. Forget that. That's got. Trust me when I tell you. I don't know how the hell Kathleen Kennedy has a job still, which is one of the reasons why I wear this. I don't know how the hell. How? Listen, this is the most expensive Indiana Jones ever made, and
she's producing it.
Yes.
Oh my god.
There's no Steven Spielberg on this. There's no George Lucas on this.
How?
Exactly.
Like,
this is why it's gonna bomb. Because you just took everything away that Indiana Jones was, and you're making it into something else. You want Fleabag to take over as the new Indiana Jones. I don't know if that's actually gonna happen in the movie, because when they first proposed it, we do have friends that really break stories online, and we have a YouTuber. I actually gotta look him up. I haven't seen him in a while. His name is Doomcock, and I'm telling you, this guy, he's definitely an insider. I don't know how yet, but I don't really pry. But the knowledge he gets is pretty much close to what I get. If not, he gets even a little more. And he was saying this about what they wanted to do with Phoebe Waller-Bridges. I guess that's her name. And they were calling her Fleabag, because that was her show, Fleabag. So they call her Fleabag through this whole thing. And this was going on for like about a year and a half. He was going back and forth with them. And he was right about what he was saying, what they wanted to do with Indiana Jones, how they were going to make him feeble. And, look, I watched the original Raiders of the Lost Ark, okay? And I was a fucking baby. I remember this movie. I went to all of them, when they started, and then they went to the Indiana Jones name. I understood why they wanted to do that, because George Lucas wanted to franchise that the way he did with Star Wars. And Raiders of the Lost Ark was more or less like a, believe it or not, kind of a side project for him that he always wanted to do, what he was passionate about, but because, he had Star Wars, he was busy. So as he threw that out, he saw, my God, this is a success. So that's where the franchise comes in. And this is where it got picked up for 3 more movies. And the thing about it is that now it's like you're seeing him, and I'm not hearing anything good about it. I mean, you're seeing your hero, pretty much, he's doing the trips like our president, let's just say. He's sandbagging all over the place. I mean, I know this for a fact. On the set of The Force Awakens, it was. I mean, I believe that was the one he did. He broke his leg. His leg climbing up into like a piece of set that was supposed to resemble the Millennium Falcon. He broke his leg. I mean, and it's nothing to be said about Harrison Ford as bad, because I'll tell you, from the bottom of my heart, I'll never forget the first Star Wars. That thing was amazing. He was amazing. They were all amazing. And this was done with little to no technology. And I mean, for its time, because I don't know if they exist anymore. If any one of you guys can find an old school copy of Star Wars before they redacted it, find it. Because you'll see the scenes, and you'll see, like, when they're in Tatooine, you don't even see half of the life you see. It's just like a barren world with very little action moving around. And then when I remember watching this redacted, I was like, oh, this is crazy. Like, it doesn't even seem like the same freaking movie. So people are even watching the old school Star Wars are not getting that original Star Wars.
Which is so crazy, because like you think about it, this movie came out 50-ish years ago. Not even 50 years ago, actually.
Yeah, it came out like I would say. Yeah, it came out in the 70s. Yeah, it came out. I do believe that the first Star Wars was 1978, and then the second one was 1982, and then the third one was 1986. So
like first one is still a few years off from being antique, and yet it's already been changed probably about 6 times, I'd say.
I mean,
because they remade it for VHS. They redacted the original version that had come out before even VHS. That was like the original version that was in the theaters. I don't think anyone's ever seen the theater version after it's actually left the theaters, because I think the first version that hit home was the redacted version, or the changed version.
No, the first ones that hit home was the original VHS tapes, and those are not redacted. They have the original footage.
They have the original.
Yeah, I know, because I
Okay.
have those tapes. I have the whole collection, of course. I have them in
Yeah.
DVD. I have them in VHS. I have them in freaking digital. I mean, I got them in Bitcoin. Whatever you can think of. I got
But
them
like,
in every freaking format. Yeah.
so
But
there's
the
the
original tape,
original,
the VHS tape,
which
which
is
I'm
the
afraid to play.
theatrical. There's the VHS that was changed, like around I think it was the 90s. They came out with a new
Yeah.
version of it
They
because that's
came
what I
out with
have.
they came out with a 3-part box set, and if you
Yeah.
got that 3-part box set, that's the redacted stuff. They added a few new features in there. But
Okay.
when they first released the first new Star Wars is when they released the redacted old Star Wars on
Okay.
DVD, and that's when they started adding in all this insanity. I mean, because
Yeah.
I recognize it immediately. Because I know, like I said, what I liked about Tattoo is like it looked like, to me, what I think George Lucas was trying to make was an alien western town. That's what it
Yep.
seemed like to me, like an alien western town. You know,
Which is
and
the
if you
vibe
look at
you
it,
get from like Mandalorian season 1.
yeah, and if you
Yeah.
look at like towns that are old school, dusty, and western, they're usually their population is not as big as a big city. It's
Yeah.
rural population, so you'll see characters around, but you'll see a bunch of shady people around. You know, I mean, I'll be honest, I didn't mind the upgrade. I liked how they did it because it kind of fit in and it
Yeah.
made everything become more alive. But then it made me realize, I was like, wow, I was actually lucky enough to actually see what this thing actually looked like. And if I sit down now and watch it, I won't recognize it. I mean, I don't know what they did with the new Star Wars if they ever redacted that. I mean, it's already has dazzling effect. I can't see what else you could do with it. And besides, this CGI now is horrible. So I wouldn't even. I don't know what the hell happened. How do we go back 7 years? It's literally like we went back 7 freaking years in the graphics department.
Yeah.
We got PlayStation 2 graphics.
The best CGI, in my opinion, of the new series is the ship going light speed through the other ship. That scene, hands down, in Last Jedi, was probably one of the coolest and most well done CGI scenes in any sequel trilogy Star Wars.
Yeah,
it was so
definitely
beautiful. I mean, it still wasn't perfect, but like it's exactly how I would picture that crash happening.
Now picture that you're walking through, and on the other side, who do you see? The MODOK from the freaking Quantum Mania. That would have ruined everything. Can you imagine him floating in space? You'll be like, what the hell? How are we here in 2023? We're watching a man's face that's not even. They didn't even try. I have apps on my phone. I could have made that guy look way better.
I almost wonder though if they did MODOK like that on purpose, just as a joke.
But who are you joking to? Like, who is this funny to? I don't get it. Like, who is this funny to? I mean, I think MODOK himself is a character that I wouldn't have thrown him under the bus like that, because honestly, he's got more depth to him than just being someone's lackey,
for sure.
You know, I mean, so the casual person who doesn't really like read comics and stuff, you gotta understand this comes from a lore. So when someone like us, we see it, it's completely out of place, you know?
Exactly.
It just don't make sense. Like, you're looking at it, you're like, why is MODOK here? What does he do? Why are they making him look like this? He's supposed to look mean and menacing, like monstrous, you know?
Yeah, MODOK had no place in that movie, but I didn't mind that he was
I don't
in there.
mind
that
either.
Makes sense.
Yeah, I understand, but I just didn't like that they used him for comic relief. If he was a comic relief character, then so be it. But every time I've ever seen MODOK in the comics or in the video game or something, he's a badass. Like, you know, you look at him like, oh, look at this big freak-headed thing. Like, but then you realize as you get, this guy is powerful as hell. He literally volunteered to become a killing machine. So you know, you got to respect that. This is something that he wanted to do. He's like, make me into this MODOK. I want to become. I forget what it was called. Something about killing organs. I forget exactly what MODOK stands for, but it does wind up to be some kind of killer. So he pretty much
mechanical organism designed only for killing.
Yeah, something like that. Only for killing. Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
I forget. But I love the character in the comics because every time I see him, he's always into some insane part of the universe. But like I said, and I'm not being critical about Quantum Mania, you know, it's just like I just was very disappointed with that face. I was like, no, come on, man, try. Just next time, try a little. Listen, send me the photo.
Just a little bit more.
Listen, Disney. Listen, Disney Marvel. You know, we work together, Disney. So listen, you send me the photo, right? I have Go to my my place. No, go to my YouTube channel, The Spider's Lair. Send me a message there. Trust me, I'm gonna do it for free. I'm just gonna post it just to post it on my channel. I'm gonna take MODOK's face and I'm gonna make something beautiful with it. And I guarantee people are gonna be like, God damn, that's better than the damn movie. I'm available. I'm just letting you guys know it's not hard to do any of this if you appoint the assignments correctly. You gotta
maybe
know
it's just because that actor is so ugly they couldn't do anything else with it.
Well, you know, I guarantee you, I'm gonna make him look really more menacing than he does right now. I'm gonna make him mean. I'm gonna make his eyes glow. I'm gonna make lightning come out of his face. I'm gonna do all kinds of craziness. I'm gonna find him the best, worst picture of that MODOK, and I'm gonna turn it into gold. But I just, you know, that's lazy to me. I get it, it's funny, but it was a little lazy. You know, it's just let's just throw him in there. They were like, let's just throw him in there. No problem. Hey, what about the face? We don't gotta try. Just throw a picture on there. It's okay.
For Guardians of the Galaxy Christmas special or holiday special.
Yeah, I like that.
Was Groot CGI'd?
You know what? That's a good question. I
don't think he was, because
I think he wasn't. I don't think he was CGI.
Because I think that was also done on purpose just to be weird. Just
but I didn't mind that
as
because
goofy as possible.
Yeah, but I didn't mind that because we're talking about like the Disney Plus network, not me going to a movie and paying.
No, for sure.
You know, that's the difference to me. I mean, I don't mind. You go buck wild however you want. And I'm not a critic. I'm not a movie critic. I just say, like, the things I noticed that are just a little out of place and weird. And when I see that, I just laugh because I'm like, it didn't even try. Like, it's not even like, just tell me it's a joke. Yeah. At least I would have made it like, yeah, you know, we got a joke coming in the movie. Don't take it too serious, guys. When you see it, you'll know exactly what we're talking about. And then
like,
after that,
there were also people who didn't like She-Hulk CGI either.
Oh my God. Let me explain something to you about She-Hulk. The woman they CGI to play She-Hulk, she was about 6'7". She was muscular. All they had to do was just slap some freaking green paint on her, like you did with Lou Ferrigno, and guess what? She-Hulk would have cost so much less, and it would have looked so much better. Yeah. Why did they do it this way? It's not even like they made it look any better. Yeah. I've seen the actress. She would have looked good with all that makeup on. She would have. She has the body. She would have actually pulled it off. She would have been like, I tell him this, and I don't think they're going to remake it. But if they ever did remake it, they need to use her again, but let her be the real She-Hulk, like you did with Lou Ferrigno. Everybody kept telling them this. Let's be like Lou. Let's be like Lou. Get her as a. I knew that they were going to frig up She-Hulk because the minute I started to hear, like, it started out good from what I was hearing initially, because with She-Hulk, it had a lot of promise. But the minute they tell you how she got her powers, that's when you knew it was going to be trash. Because I'm like, no. Okay, I understand you want to change the story up a little bit because in the original story, she's a defense attorney, or she's a criminal law attorney, and the mafia put a hit on her, and Bruce Banner knew if he gave her her blood with her genetics, and they share, similar genetics, that she may become a Hulk as well. He was reluctant to do it, but he did that to save her life. Like it was a no choice situation. She got hit with a stray bullet, or she got hit from a bullet, and he saved her life, and that's what made her the She-Hulk. And this one, she just kind of like bled him on her. And I was like, what the hell is this? I didn't like the origin story, and I just had a feeling from that point on. I was like, oh man, am I witnessing what I'm witnessing? Are they going to mess this show up? And oh boy, they did. I remember we talking about this when it was first coming out, and I remember you were being optimistic, and I told you, don't be optimistic. This show sucks. I told you. It's like I wasn't even trying to waste your time. I was trying to help you, But now you have the scars that I have. I tried. Listen, I tried. When the spiders tell you to stay away, you got to stay away.
I tried so hard to like it too, and I was just like,
I mean,
I don't know.
I didn't like the fact that the way that it ended, you're telling me you trolled the fans. You trolled. What the hell? Ha ha! Joke's on you. We did this on purpose. Now no more show. Goodbye. Yeah. Wow. You really showed us. That was funny. Let me ask you a question. Do you have a show for next year? No? Oh, yeah. Joke's on us. Oh, wow. Oh, we were going to troll them the whole time. No, they weren't. What happened was, they have to say something because in their creative little minds, this was genius. even though they were told by many.
Yeah.
And I can't say the names, but when you get like these shows and you see it's every episode is a different episode, they'll connect it into the end of the episode, so it continuously loops. But every episode is different, and almost every episode is written by someone different. Almost every single one of the writers on these shows are female. And it's not saying anything against females. I'm just laying out exactly what the show's about. The show's all about female representation. You know, and
which shows don't have to be that way.
Right. Not only that, I mean, you're representing what? I remember when she was twerking with Megan Thee Stallion, and I'll be honest, I didn't know who the hell Megan Thee Stallion was until this show. So I was like, all right, cool. I learned a new person. Okay, cool. I can't even hate on Megan Thee Stallion. Somebody's inviting me on to do what I do normally. I'm gonna make that bag. Remember what I just said? I don't care how much money you got. If someone comes to you with a bag of money and goes, "You want to make this money?" and you're like, "Well, the politics," and no, I'll take it, because I don't even have nothing against Megan Thee Stallion or the scene itself. But it did make me laugh, because I'm like, wow, this is women empowerment. This is strong, independent women twerking. I started laughing. It was so funny, because I knew. That's what I knew. Oh, this is worse than I thought. It's actually going to go down a cliff so quick, it's not even going to be funny. It's going to be one of the worst rated shows. But then again, it's actually not. And I won't get into it, but, I don't know if you know about the controversy with Netflix and Cleopatra, but apparently we were all taught wrong, because some old grandmama was saying that she didn't care what anyone told her in school that Cleopatra was indeed black. And I laugh at it, because I'm like, okay, so this lady says it, so has to be. It just, because her grandmama told her that, But it's just funny, because what I liked about that whole story is that the Egyptian government sued they sued Netflix for misappropriating their culture. And it's the Minister of Egyptian Artifacts and Historical Societies that is the one who led the lawsuit. So it's like the expert of all their Egyptology. That's what he is. He's an Egyptologist. He is like the head. Like, he is the one that would know who was who, what color was who, And it's not, listen, it's one thing if you want to say a docudrama, but don't say this is a freaking, like, based on anything real. It's not.
Yeah.
Everyone knows it's history. I learned this. I mean, you're a teacher, so I say it, because, I know even though in this world, like, facts don't really mean anything anymore, they do to me, because I learned with just a freaking number 2 pencil and paper. So, yes, Cleopatra was not black. Mesopotamian, Greek. She is from the lineage of Alexander the Great, which was also a Greek. They settled in Mesopotamia. The kingdom was split up when he died. He died so young. She is a direct descendant of Alexander the Great. So there's no way that she was ever African. It's in your dreams if you think this is the case. I mean, and even without us having any social media or any kind of proof, you could just go into any museum, any of her statues, anything that she ever did. I mean, even when Cleopatra was played by Elizabeth Taylor, they were saying, and a lot of people don't think this, but I remember this as a kid, and they kept saying that she was too white to play her because she didn't have the Mediterranean Greek look. Mm-hmm. And I always said that all she had to do was just tan, but that was Elizabeth Taylor. That's how they let her play it. People were upset about that too, but at least they did, like, she was the closest thing. I mean, Greek is like, Mediterranean, but
if closer than Egypt. If you go to Egypt, there's not very many dark African people there.
No, it's not. They range from mid-tone to very light skin and white.
And then you look at all the cave paintings and the pyramid paintings and all of that. And it's like, these are accurate accounts of what they look like. They didn't change the color of their skin.
Yeah, exactly. They literally painted them the way that they were. There's
nobody gave a shit about skin color back then. Nobody cared. Nobody knew.
This is a Western ideology. So people, this is a history lesson. Couple hundred years before we ever asked, like, no one cared about the color of your skin. You were either a serf, or you were a noble, or you were a king. That's it. None of that mattered. Nobody cared if you was a dirty, whatever. They didn't care. You were a serf, you were a serf. Your race nobody cared about race back then. The system was based on a class system. This is how it is like that now. But they want you to believe that it's not. They want you to believe it's based on race. The only thing that race does, honestly, it just puts too much confusion into things that don't need to even be mentioned. Because when you have people from the past, thousands of years ago, they didn't say, "Oh, we don't like those people over there because their religion's different or their skin color's different." No, what it was okay. I'm a conqueror, and you're a conqueror, and you're trying to conquer our land, so we're gonna go to war, and then the winner gets the spoils. Roman Empire was a perfect example of this. You talk about assimilation, they're like the freaking Borg of the past. Every freaking culture that they got in, they assimilated into their culture. They worshipped and wanted the Greek culture in their culture so bad that the Greeks were slaves to them. But you're talking about teachers like Socrates, things that, like, people who are really, like, at the height of society. Because the Romans understood and they knew conquering's not enough. You have to work within the community that you're conquering, because you got to understand, when the war happens, it sucks. You're going to have winners and you're going to have losers, But back then, no one was even thinking about any kind of, the race wasn't an issue. It was more about, you are threatening my lands and I'm going to defend my lands, or I'm a conqueror, I'm a Caesar, and I'm just going to keep going until I'm stopped. And that's what it comes down to. Nobody gave a damn about what color you were. They didn't care if the Greeks were Greek. They took them in their society. They took everyone in. It didn't matter who you were, what your skin tone was. If you were willing to become part of the republic, then we will make you a citizen. You're just going to have the title of slave because we can't let you roam free because we conquered you. But your ancestors will be free. And so were their ancestors. And that's what happens. And it sucks, but this is the way societies are built. It's built on winners and losers.
And history is always written by the winner.
But today
they
you have
don't change the history and the skin color of a person 2,000 years ago.
Because it doesn't make any kind of sense. Right. You got to understand something. We have to live in a realistic world. If you want to make a docudrama, that's fine. But you can't call it a documentary because it's not factual whatsoever. I'm not saying there wasn't queens back then that ruled. Of course there was. We could even talk. I could talk about the Queen of Sheba for hours. That's the queen you could have been talking about. But Cleopatra, I'm sorry, was not black in any way, shape, or form. It's got nothing to do with how I feel about it. It has nothing to do with how she feels about it, how the writers and the producers, your feelings are irrelevant to the facts. And this is what's happened in society, is that people's feelings are getting in the way of actual science and facts. And when you start operating a society like that, this is when you have problems. Because real men in this world are supposed to be stoic. This is why you don't see men breaking down emotionally. And sometimes I get it from my fiance. She's always telling me I'm a little rough around the edges. And I tell her, I have to stay stoic. I can't afford to be emotional. I can't afford to let myself go like that. I have to be a responsible man in this world. And that's where the problem I see lies, and a lot of the youngsters don't understand this. They think that I feel this way, so I should just go with my... No. You young. You're not supposed to... When we're all young, we don't know what the hell we are. You know? But the one thing that you have in your life is time. Don't be in a rush to do anything. Time is all you need. Because if you sat there and you think things through and you go through the motions, and I don't have any problem, like this could go with anything. You want to trans, let's say. I don't have a problem with it, but just understand what you're doing and understand that no matter what they tell you, anything that you put in your body that you, if you stop anything in your body from puberty, you will have long-term lasting effects. This is medically proven already for 20 years. It's all over the internet. You can find this in many sources. I'm not going to give out any of that sources, but they're all over the place. This is 20 plus years of research already. So you are not, all you think you're doing is you're messing yourselves up. And if you think about it, how crazy is that? If everybody decided at one time, let's just all trans at once. Where the hell are the babies coming from? You can't have a society like that. It's nothing to be bad to be said about anything. I just want to live in a reality world where we base things on what we see in facts and stuff. And I think a lot of people, for whatever reason, they want to be represented. I mean, and I go back to Spider-Man with this all the time. And I never in my life reading Spider-Man once growing up thinking that, hey, you know what? I wish I could be Spider-Man, or I see myself as Spider-Man. I always saw myself as Spider-Man, but not in no color manner. Just like as a kid with a web shooter, and I'm just flying through the air, you know. And I would see my friends, and I had a lot of white friends and black friends and Hispanic friends growing up, and I could see them all doing it. But it never occurred to me to have it. Like, I'll tell you when the first time it actually occurred to me, and a lot of people think the Miles Morales one is the one. Definitely not. We're going to Spider-Man 2099, okay? Spider-Man 2099. The first time that a Hispanic was actually a superhero. I never forget it. He was Puerto Rican and Irish, and I almost died. Named Miguel O'Hare. Like, literally had my name. I was like, Jesus Christ, this is me. Like, that's the first time. Like, it got me. Boom, that's me. And I'm like, oh. And I realized that. At that moment, I was like, oh, my God. I never thought about that until it was put in my face. So you see, the reason why I say that story is because that made me, for the first time, actually think about me being in the costume, where before, when I didn't see his face or anything, he's completely. I never thought about it. I just thought about, wow, it'd be cool to have that costume on and just ride through the air, no matter what you are underneath, you know. And I'm not gonna lie, I can't wait to see the new Spider-Verse movie. So, in case you don't have any updates, Spider-Man, the opening Thursday, I believe was over $20-something million, and it opened number 2 as the highest Thursday in history. And the only thing that got higher than that, I think, was The Incredibles 2.
Which makes
according
sense.
to my sources. And they just got the second
animated.
highest animated opening on a Thursday. They broke the record. They're the second highest, and the first one is still The Incredibles 2. But that's just Thursday. This movie's gonna do great. And I like all this stuff. I'll be honest. I like the Spider-Verse because I get it, you know.
Yeah.
I don't agree with everything about it, but I mean, I feel like from what I've been seeing, the reviews and talking to people and people who already watched it, because I was gonna go today, but I didn't have time. They're telling me that this is a Spider-Man movie made for Spider-Man fans. So I can't wait to see it.
Which is exactly what one of my students told me today. He goes, This movie was amazing. I was like, you went to go see it last night? He goes, yeah. And then he tries like telling spoilers, and I was like, I walked down to the hallway and said to one of our security guards, I'm like, he needs to go to ISS because he's trying to spoil the Spider-Man movie. She comes in and is like, get out of here. You're not allowed to spoil Spider-Man.
How dare you? Good for you. See, you're a good teacher. That's right. You let these kids know what time it is.
And I said to him, I was like, there's one question I have to ask, and it's the only question I want to know. Is the Spot the main villain? That's all I care about. It's not a spoiler to me. It's like, is he the main villain or not? That's all I'm wondering. Because if he's not, then there's something so much larger at play here that we don't know about. And he goes, if you don't mind me spoiling for you.
Oh, no, I'm good.
He goes, kinda, but not really. I was like, interesting.
I think I have an idea of exactly what's going on in the movie, and the Spot is one of those characters that are being used. Then you find out later on that, of course, he has strings being pulled behind the scene.
Exactly.
And would you like me to tell you what? It's not a spoiler. It's only my own fan theory of what I think it is. Because pretty much something happens with Miles Morales in the past that not destroys the timeline, but it does some really fucked up shit to it. And he knows that he can't. He wants to save. They're pretty much letting him know someone in his family is going to die.
Yep.
But if you save that person, you're going to put millions of people in jeopardy. Like, this is your destiny.
Yeah.
But he's like, nah, I can save everybody. And they're telling him. It's like if something already happened and you're a time traveler and you're trying to explain to this person what happened, but they don't get it because you already saw it unfold.
Yep.
More than once, in multiple dimensions and multiple timelines. He did the same thing over and over again, which resulted in the same thing. So I think what's happening in the movie, from what I can tell, if the story is following what I think it's going to follow, Spider-Man 2099 makes the secret society of the Spider-Verse people. That's his society. He makes that. He's from the future. He gathers up all of them for the past that are worthy, that fall under his umbrella of worthiness, recruits them in, brings them to that layer. You know, it's called the lobby where they're at. That's the lobby, and that's where all the Spider-Verse people come from. He's the head. Miles Morales is trying to join them, but he's already hearing and being heckled by the other Spider-Man. You know, on the low, he's not catching it. So when he tries to get recruited, they're telling him that, like, Spider-Man 2099, Miguel O'Hara tells him there's no way this is going to happen. So, and then that's when they started going into the story about. So you don't know exactly what's happening, but all you know is that at the point, for what I feel, something's going to happen with him, and he has to make a choice, and he has to make the right one according to them. He don't want to hear the choice. He's going to do his own thing. And it just seems like it's a loop they're trying to break out of. So they're going after Miles, but they're not trying to hurt him. But, you know, they're trying to keep him from leaving the lobby, because the lobby stands, I believe, because I'm not saying this, but from what I could tell, and I know a lot about the Spider-Verse and how that lobby, it sits somewhere outside of time, kind of, you know. It's not in the future or in the past. It's probably like a little pocket dimension that sits between I guess, all these other worlds of all these other Spider-Verse people. So this is like a conduit. So this would be the lobby. That's why they call it the lobby. I mean, these are my theories. I mean, I did not talk to nobody about this. I did talk to the people that were trying to spoil it for me and tell me about the actual story. I gave them my fan theory, and they told me that, yeah, man, you know, you would have been good writing this because it's almost to that point. So I was told that I'm pretty much on track of what I'm saying. So this is my personal thing. So I think this is what's happening in the movie, that the movie's going to come down to that he cannot save the one person that he needs to save, because if he does, then the rest of the entire Spider-Verse would suffer for it. And Miguel O'Hara has this information, and Peter B. Parker has some of it. But Miguel O'Hara is not telling Peter B. Parker everything.
Yeah. Peter
B. Parker starts to find out, oh shit, you're holding stuff back from me. Yeah, because you defended the kid. Remember, Peter B. Parker is Miles Morales' mentor. He's his mentor. Right. Yeah. You know, so this is my student. I'm his mentor.
I'm gonna take care of mine.
And that's what he's saying. No, you know he can't. You know he can't. We had this discussion already. I showed you time and time again why he can't. Doesn't matter. He said, this kid still has a chance. I'm going to help him. So, you know, it becomes like I believe it's going to be infighting because of that. Yeah. I just say like this. If it's making me think this much about it, and from what I've seen, I think it's going to be a very good movie. I mean, I'm hearing nothing but acclaim for it. I'm hearing that the writing's superb. And that's why I tell everybody, I don't care about the politics they threw in there. There's a little BLM in there. There's a little Save Trans Kids in there. I'm all right with that. I mean, you know, it's the world that reflected. I understand. They're not... Yep. It's not in your face, you know. Yeah. But it's there nevertheless.
Storyline.
Yeah. But it's there nevertheless.
And
the only reason why I mention that is because, see, I would have been all right with that if the first movie had that. But the first movie had no kind of elements like that whatsoever. That's the only reason why I bring it up. Otherwise, I don't see an issue with the movie. I see the movie being what it's supposed to be. A Spider-Man movie for huge Spider-Man fans like me. We're going to go there and scream our asses off and enjoy ourselves. I don't care. I'll be a big adult screaming at the top of my lungs with the other kids.
I think my son is finally ready for like a movie.
Take him. Yeah, so you take him.
How old is this is the one that we're going to take him for.
How old is he? Oh, yeah, he could go.
So I think he's definitely ready for this, and he'll just be like...
You got to make sure, though, when you take him, you got to get him some web shooters or something, man. Give him like some toy web shooters. Go to Five Below, get him some web shooters or something, and just put them on him and let him just go shoot stuff up. I'm telling you, man. Kids are going to remember that, because when my parents took me to go see the first Star Wars, I was a kid, a baby. But I remember that day. I remember that damn. I remember the scene that stuck out to me the most was when Luke Skywalker was fighting Darth Vader for the first time. And when Luke blows up, not even that he blows up the Death Star, which that was cool. But the part that I like was when Darth Vader is getting shot down by the other X-Wing fighters, then his craft starts going into like a spin, and he's just spinning out the screen. That I remember like so vividly. Yeah. I don't know. I must have got dizzy watching this thing. I remember that scene so vividly, like how he got hit and he flies out the sea, but you know the Death Star explodes, but he survives. Of course, he's Darth Vader. You know,
and that makes it so much better because it's like we're talking about one of the most force-sensitive people in the entire Star Wars universe and one of the
Yes.
best pilots in the entire Star Wars universe.
Yes.
And
a natural born pilot.
yeah,
he was a prodigy as a kid. Like his father was a prodigy as a kid, so he inherited all of those mini-chlorians, whatever the hell they call them.
Midi-chlorians.
That makes sure, yeah, mini-chlorians. He inherited everything that his daddy had. Believe me, he's a better version of his dad.
Yeah, I mean, I think next week let's definitely talk Spider-Verse. I cannot wait to see this movie.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna see it, so we're gonna have plenty to talk about. You know, definitely. Yeah, Miles, we're gonna be talking about you, man. I got a Miles Morales sitting right here. I'll put him on, but I got all my remotes here. I gotta move this stuff, man. He's gonna start moving.
So make sure you guys go check out that movie. That's what we're gonna be talking next week, and I can't wait. I'll see you later.
Oh, I can't wait either. Yes, man. Have a nice night, everyone, and we'll be doing this next week. I can't wait to talk about the Miles Morales. That's gonna be awesome. I hope it's going to be good, but, you know, I'll give you my honest opinion, and I hope it's going to be good.
Yep.
Because, you know, if it's going to be good, I'll be straight up about it.
We know it'll be better than She-Hulk.
What? Oh, listen. You could color in a coloring book and write Hulk smash, and that'll be better than She-Hulk, okay?
True.
She-Hulk smash. Later. There you go. Later, man.